Hi guys, welcome back. It is Libby here, and it is April 22nd. We're less than a month away from the end of the semester. This is not an update for my school semester, but I do want to talk about school today. We are going to talk about how a theme of my classes this semester has been breaking me mentally and emotionally, and it's made everything else that much harder, but that will be in another video. We're going to talk about the topics. So before we get started, don't forget to subscribe, share, and like. And as always, don't forget to hit that notification bell to be notified every time I upload a new video. I hope everyone had a great weekend. One question for all of you: how did the eggs and bunnies come into the resurrection of Jesus? I would really love to know. How's everyone doing today? It is Tuesday and I've already had a messy week. Admittedly, my semester has been very bad. It's been a struggle with everything, not just the course materials, not just, oh my goodness, sorry, it's mid-afternoon and people are coming home, people are doing construction. But I really wanted to talk to you guys about this because the longer time passes between yesterday and today, I think I'm gonna feel more dumb and more like I overreacted, which I don't like doing because I should have the right to cry. Anyways, I hope you guys are okay with all the noise. I'm so sorry, but yeah. So one theme that's recurring in my classes is connecting my past, my tradition, family's tradition, the culture. My major is Chicana and Chicana studies, so it kind of makes sense why we would connect those, but it's hard because my experiences is completely different from most. What I have noticed from my classmates is that even though we're all different, we're all individuals and we all have our own separate families, there's a lot of similarities. However, I'm kind of experienced that like in that from the outside. I don't know. Hold on a second. What I mean by that is I went blind at the age of 5. I sadly was born into a family who has very old understanding and beliefs about people with disabilities. My mom was in denial for 7 years after I went blind. My aunts, I have 2 sets of aunts and uncles. Both aunts are my mom's sisters. We're gonna call the aunt that lives in LA Tia M, and then the one that lives near us, Tia C. So my Tia C was the one who I would go to more because she lived literally about 2 miles down the street from us, and she was the one that I would go to the weekends with, my holidays with, my vacations with. Like anytime I wasn't in school, I tried to be over there. My tia M, she was the one that was involved very much into my elementary. She was the one that would go to the parent conferences whenever she could. She would go to my shows. People believed they were my parents and my cousins were my siblings. And she would be the one to take me to my eye doctors and stuff like that. Just to give you an idea. But we have to remember, I was going blind from the age of 5. So when I would go out in the public, I would not be able to experience the architecture, the art, the decor, how people interacted with one another, whatever they were wearing. I couldn't see that. I couldn't enjoy that. I couldn't observe that and absorb it to be part of who I was and to be part of my culture, my community. Even though I know it was there, I was able to enjoy the music, the sense of the smells, like how delicious the food smelled, or when we would go to a very Mexican store, I would be able to smell the leather, you know, I would be able to feel the textures and stuff like that. Yes, for sure. But it was still a big challenge to be able to see it as a whole. So now that I'm a student, that we have to talk about this, it's hard. And then when we have to talk about our personal experiences with family and traditions, I grew up in a household where most of the adult energy would go to working. 90% of the time when they did go out, me and my sister would be left behind. So how do I bring that to my assignments in my class? I've spoken a couple of times and I felt that like everyone stays quiet, and I'm like, I don't need your pity. I don't know what you guys are thinking. I don't know if you guys, there's literally nothing to ask about. One person was brave enough to say like, do you have support now? And I'm like, just my friends, you know, that's all I have right now. And yes, I have some family members that are very supportive, like my, you know, as supportive as they can be, because to be honest, they were raised by people who had this mentality of people with disabilities, so it's really not their fault. And yes, now that I'm an adult, I should be able to educate them. But this brings me to another thing. I was having a conversation with a family member because I was showing them pictures of my friend's baby, and they started asking about, oh, are they blind? Then this led to, oh, is their partner blind? I started getting the sense that they were not okay with blind people marrying sighted people. And I was like, let's talk about it. Why do you think? I wanted to be mature about it. I wanted to be an adult about it. But the more we got into it, they were dead set on still believing that sighted people who dated, or, you know, people without disabilities dating people with disabilities were essentially perverts. And I'm like, no, that is not it. People with disabilities are just people. They just have to do certain things differently. And I just didn't know how to educate them properly. And I was like, so you think I will never be able to get married? And they're like, well, you can marry a blind person. I'm like, how about if I don't fall in love with the blind person? And they just stay quiet, and I'm like, this is heartbreaking, because by this point we were talking about for like 15 minutes, and I started talking about people who are, you know, blind. I mostly based off this conversation about blind people, like who are entrepreneurs, who were social media influencers, who, you know, had sighted husbands or wives. And we just went into it. She just kept saying, well, it's nice that people can love people like that. And I'm like, you know, you're talking to your blind family member. It was just heartbreaking, to be honest. And I have to continue talking to this individual because they're the person I'm interviewing for my major project for one of my assignments. And I'm like, how can I help you understand that what you're saying is so ignorant and hurtful to me without making it a big deal? Not a big deal, but causing a fight here or whatever. But it's been really, really affected me because these assignments have been occurring throughout the semester with all my classes, and I just don't know what to say, because I'm like, I didn't have a childhood. I wasn't experiencing life. I was left in my room when they had guests over, when they had parties over, because they refused to make accommodations for me. Like, instead of telling people, hey, our daughter's blind, just be aware of that, and they would scramble to help me get off the seat and to move around. Like, they would say, sit here and don't move, and I'm like, this is my house. So instead of having to be treated that way, I would just stay in my room, and they almost, without words, they encouraged that. And it just became a thing that when they have people over, I stay in my room, and so I can't even talk about family gatherings like that, you know. So it's just the hardest thing I've ever had to experience, looking back at my childhood and realizing, damn, is that why the way that I am? It is heartbreaking, and I'm like, I don't want to get pity for my classmates or my professors, but sadly that is my life, my story. And I don't have a culture. I don't have, well, the traditions that I do have are minimal, and you know, what you would expect from a Mexican American household. And it just makes me really sad, and so that's been really weighing on me. I'm trying not to cry. I don't know why it's getting to me. I think it became too much. And then yesterday, you know, with that's just an aspect of the things I've been struggling with this semester, and with other things that arose yesterday. I just had a really bad day. So I went into the shower. I'm like, my showers are all my safe space. I can cry, no one will bother me, which I rarely cry, but I'm like, I feel it coming. But I didn't, because I kept thinking, like, darn it, we're almost a month, we're less than a month away. I need to get these done. And because I was so distracted, I kept putting conditioner in my hair, and I was so mad at it. Excuse me, I have the hiccups. So mad at myself. I'm like, I already have bad hair. You're gonna ruin it by continue putting conditioner in it. So I finally shampooed, and that's when I realized my stuff was moved around. My Dove bar soap was missing. I got furious, and I'm like, calm down, you know, just ask people and figure this out. But then I can't use the one that I'm currently using, because they put it next to the other Dove soap that gave me some itchiness, which was the cherry one. And I'm like, well, now I can't use it because they are now mixed together, even though I can scrape mine off. I don't know, I just didn't want to do it. I don't know if I'm just overreacting, but I had to use my body wash for my entire body, which I don't like using. Usually I use the body brush to use the body wash on my arms, legs, back, and stomach, and that's the only places I use it in. But I had to use it all over my body this time. And as I was changing afterwards, silent tears just started falling, and I'm like, why are you being so stupid? Stop crying, it's just a bar of soap. Ask tomorrow where it is. And of course I found out where it was today. My mom moved it after she cleaned the bathroom, and I'm like, why do you always move my stuff but never everyone else's, you know? I'm like, that happens not just in the bathroom but the kitchen, and it's just so frustrating. And she finally is like, oh no, it's okay, you know, we'll just put it here. And I'm like, no, I don't want to use that one because it's mixed with the other one now. And she's like, oh, we're scraping. I'm like, fine, just don't move my stuff. But I literally cried for an hour straight I kept telling myself to stop crying, that I was being stupid. And yes, it was just a bar of soap, you guys, but it was an accumulation of everything, you know. It's school, things I have to struggle at home, and feeling like a failure this semester. It's just been really, really bad. And I just wanted to come on here and talk about the school stuff. This was not my semester, and sadly I might not pass at all. So we will see how that goes. I hope everyone had a better week than I am. It's barely Tuesday and it's already a crappy one, so sorry for the noise. I think we're gonna leave it here, you guys. Thank you for watching. We'll see you guys in the next one.